Are you feeling cold? A few no's. No, you're okay? You're lucky you said no, because I was going to make you all shake it off. Are we? What? Microphone, and I will come down. Actually, Tinashe, please help me. You've got the microphone there. Please go to the gentleman that is directly in front of me, right at the back. And I think it's gray. Is it gray or blue? You're looking back. I'm talking about you. I am talking about you, sir. You're right in front of him. Please check that the mic is on. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I could be better.
You could be better. What's not quite right?
We are just waiting for the presentation.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So while you wait for the presentation, could you tell us a joke?
I thought you were going to sing the national anthem first.
No, sir, we are not. And that does not count as your joke. It was funny, but it's not the joke. No, we're not taking that. Could you tell us an actual joke? You're stuck. You can hand it to somebody else. Like you can pick anyone.
No.
Just come outside.
You can't laugh at yourself. We need to laugh with you.
Just come outside.
He's trying to Google a joke. Hi, guys. How are you trying to Google a joke? Do you not have friends who tell you jokes?
Can you just start?
No, that's not how this works. All right, it's fine. I will come back to you for my joke. I'm coming back for it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Liquid Intelligent Technologies event. And as we mentioned, we are helping you supercharge your digital transformation with Microsoft today. So you will be taken through presentations that will show you how Microsoft is going to help you improve not just your communication, but also your collaboration in your day-to-day runnings. Now, before we start, a few housekeeping rules. Please can all your cell phones be put on silent? Please can all your cell phones be put on silent? I am very happy to fundraise. So should your phone ring throughout any presentation at any point, I will be collecting something from you. So if you're feeling generous, you can leave it on. It's fine. Like, we won't complain. Second thing, if you need the bathrooms, you go out the door that you came out in, you turn to your right, go straight down, you'll see a piano, turn to your left. Ladies, your door is the first one on the left. Gentlemen, you're a bit further down. Please make sure you are seeing the correct sign before you enter. Okay? Lastly, throughout the presentations, you will be allowed to take notes because we have an interactive session later on. So we do want you to ask a lot of questions. If you do not ask questions, you've seen me. I am stubborn. I will ask you questions. Okay? So please take down your notes. Make sure you're ready to ask questions and you're ready to begin or get more involved in what's going on and to understand exactly what it is this service and the systems will be doing for you. Now, today, the event will be streaming on Technomag TV, as well as on the Liquid Home, YouTube, and LinkedIn pages. So also, maybe you might not want to fall asleep in case the cameraman is as mischievous as I am and catches you on camera. Forever. The internet does not forget. You know this very well. All right, are we ready to get into today's presentations? Guys, are we ready to get into today's presentations? Okay, that sounds a bit better. We'll try it one more time. Are you ready to get into today's presentations? Oh, you see, there you go. When you come to life, you make us so happy. All right, so help me welcome to the podium. Oh, the other thing is nobody comes up without a very loud round of applause, all right? So please help me welcome to the podium Hamilton Manika, who is the Regional Commercial Officer for Liquid. Please give him a round of applause as he comes up to take us just through the beginning.
Thank you very much, our Director of Ceremonies. I think, first of all, obviously, we started a bit late than what we had initially planned, mainly because we needed to have as much people coming through. So our apologies for that. But nevertheless, I'm happy that the turnout is very good. It's been a long time since we've had some of these functions. So I'm happy that we are now starting to have functions of this nature and coming together, understanding some of the things that were a bit difficult as we're working from the respective areas or remote working. So what we are gathered here for today is essentially to connect some of the things that we are already aware of. You would be aware that Liquid Intelligent Technologies has been doing a lot of connectivity, deployment of the network to ensure that each and every one of us is connected. And that journey has continued, even though we've had COVID all the way, but we have continued to do a lot of other things in the process of ensuring that beyond just connectivity, you also have additional services, you have got additional benefits, you are creating a lot of value from what has been established as your connection. So today, this is one of the series that we are also doing, essentially looking at how do we accelerate your digital journey, the transformation into that digital journey, which a lot of us had already started. So this is what we call the Tech Tuesday campaign series that we'll be doing, essentially looking at areas that we can be helping each other and then developing along that. So the theme for today's event is Supercharge your journey into the digital transformation. I think as you can see on the screen, that's essentially the theme that we'll be moving with. And with that, we are also expecting to be sharing a lot, particularly to do with how do we accelerate that journey for you. That is, if you've already started it. If you have not, what is it that we need to do so that we can actually take you there? So that's essentially the focus that we'll be looking at. We do understand that within the different people that have attended, we are coming from diverse backgrounds. We do have our directors here, the IT managers, the finance people. We also have got IT administrators, the developers here. So it's a variety of individuals or people that have attended this function. So it's important that we'll be looking at where you are in that journey, and then we take you through that whole journey as we move. While we are also looking at that, what are some of the things that you can look forward to? We are going to talk about the different products that you can get in this digital journey. Where do you need to start from? And from there, how do you proceed as you move forward? So those are some of the things that we would expect to get from us. But not only that, we are also going to go beyond just knowing the products that we are providing, and also saying what is it that we can do to assist you in that journey. So these things include issues to do with the assessments that we need to do in your environments. Once we have done the assessments, we identify the solutions that you need, recommend these to your environment. Once we have recommended that, we also proceed to the implementation bit. We'll also be moving with you with that implementation process. once the implementation has been done, it's also important to have workshops along the way where we are going together in this journey and understanding any issues that may be required. And then obviously to ensure that going forward, there is that continuity and sustainability. We'll also be looking at training that we can provide as we move in that journey. So these are some of the things that will come in as Liquid and then assist and help you. And obviously, as we are looking at today's journey, the last bit that we'll have is a product demo where we are going to look at a modern workplace. What are some of the applications that you need to be using? What are some of the things that you need to know about? We also look at issues to do with your security, things to do with your data loss prevention, issues to do with data retention. It could be multi-factor authentication. So these are some of the things that you will see as we do our presentations today and as we also interact along the day. So it's really a fully packed day, and I'm happy that you're ready for it, and I wish you all the best as we move in this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manika. All right, so are we ready to find out more about the products? Guys, we've done this already. Are we ready to find out more about these products? Yes. I love it. Absolutely wonderful. All right, so please give Valerie Nyandoro, who is a public sector executive, a round of applause as she comes to just talk us through the products and services. Oh, you can do better than that.
I think the people in here are hungry or something. Don't you?
They had coffee. They have no excuse.
But they didn't come from home with something to eat. Are we going to give them something later?
Yes, we are.
All right.
We're definitely giving them something later, but only if they cooperate.
Okay, no, that's fine. So my role today, before we go in and talk about how you can transform your organizations or how you can transform your current services, is just basically going to go through and give you a wind up of the current products that we currently have. We're just going to talk about the products that Liquid offers, in case some of you don't know those, and just give you a brief on that. So who we are is we're Liquid Intelligent Technologies. We rebranded from Liquid Telecom, and the main reason for this is we did notice that on top of giving clients the internet, what else can we offer them? So we have gone into a situation where we're now offering intelligent solutions. So anything that you have, most of you currently have our internet services, what else can you do on top of that internet services? So in coming up with that, as an organization, we've got 5 data centers across Africa, 3 satellite hubs for those in very remote locations, and we pride ourselves as being the largest peering partner. Our products are split into 2. We've got the connectivity solutions, and then we've got the cloud solutions. I will not dwell too much on the cloud solutions because that's mainly the presentation that's going to come through, but I'll just give you a brief of what our connectivity solutions are. We have split them up into enterprise, small business, home, satellite services, and connectivity partners or wholesalers in other aspects, others call them that. Our enterprise solutions, we're looking at your MPLS VPN, where you can connect different branches. If you've got a branch in Harare, you've got a branch in Mutare, you want people to access certain servers, we offer such solutions. We also then have direct internet access, which is the internet that most of you people use. We're offering that service, and we're offering that to our enterprise customers, our small businesses, and to our wholesale clients. When we talk about wholesale clients, we're talking about clients that want to resell the internet services. You can come through, talk to us, we'll give you a plan, how much capacity you can purchase, and how you can probably go about doing the sales. We're looking at small businesses, your SMEs. You want to get internet access, we can give you that. You have a director that's connecting maybe from their house or their small office, but they also want to access what's in the offices. We can give you solutions to do such things. And then we talk about your enterprises. We're talking about the banking sector, your agricultural sector, anything that you think requires a solution for it to work, as long as you have the internet, we should be able to come up with a solution for you. And within these enterprises, we've noticed that some have remote locations, like out in Chipinge, or in very remote locations, you probably have a workstation that has 2 people, or a workstation that's working out in Chiadzgwa or one of those locations. We have certain services that we're offering on wireless. We have the satellite services to get to very remote locations. Where we can, we're actually partnering with our partners, such as Econet Services, and offering microwave services. So you can get direct internet accesses with less latencies than your satellite services in most of these remote locations. If you want to find out more about that, there's a few account managers that are dotted in this room. So long as you give them the location of these places, they'll be able to give you those. And then finally, we have the fiber to the home and the Vibronics to the home. This is sold through our brand, Liquid Home, formerly Zoll Zimbabwe, where we are providing you with internet services and internet solutions to your houses. We're no longer in a situation where people just want internet at their houses. People are developing smart home solutions where you come through to the house, you've got your Alexa systems, you've got lights that are connected to the internet and things like that. We are now providing such solutions. And how do we provide these solutions? We've developed an in-house geeks team that is managed by Abraham. He's out in the crowd here. And what this team is, it's a group of experts, technical experts that work within our organization. They will provide you solutions for any of those solutions, whether it's from the home end to the enterprise end. They will come through, work with you, try and see what is it that you're trying to achieve. We'll give you a solution and see how you can work through that solution. The geeks do what we call managed services for your enterprise and SME customers as well. And these are some of the services that we basically go through on the managed services. We've got professional support services. We've got remote call-in support. It's not all the time that we need to send somebody out to the house. They can log in remotely and be able to assist you. We've got the managed Wi-Fi services. So on top of the Wi-Fi that you have, maybe your place is too big or your organization has certain other things that you want to do. You want to do a ticketing system on top of your Wi-Fi. We'll come through and be able to give you guidance on how you can set that up. We have the complex solutions implementation. So you go through, maybe you've gone through, sent out a tender, solution has come through, but coming to implementation, the vendor that has come through has failed to implement these things. Our team will come through, look at what the product is all about. We'll go through and look at these complex solutions, incorporate them with our cloud team, incorporate them with the connectivity requirements that you require. We'll tell you what you need to use, and we can go through that. We're also looking at data centers. We've got data centers locally at Eastgate and at Pockets Hill. We're offering services for those of you that probably are not sure of the capabilities at their offices. You don't think maybe if power goes off, your servers will remain online. You can bring through your servers. We can also do something on the cloud servers on Azure and host your servers from our end. The Geeks team will be able to do all of that. They're also looking at SD-WAN solutions and basically the overall of the managed networks. On top of the remote call support that I talked about, we actually also will offer people to come out to your places should you require us to help you with the support. Then the second part of our services is cloud services. I'm just going to show you a brief of what's there. That's work from anywhere, Microsoft, we're offering that. We're offering Azure. We're doing Teams Business Voice for those that want to do remote meetings. But I'm not going to talk much about that as we prepare for the next presenter that will be coming through. He'll guide you through most of the services that will come through. So, ladies and gentlemen, just a brief of where we've come from The connectivity solutions that we always provided, they're there, they're zhuzhed up, and with a team that's there to back up any issues that you may have. Any support that you may have, I know some of you have called us, calling through IT guys who probably will not finish the work that they start. Call Liquid, raise the tickets through one of your account managers. We'll send a team over to fix any of your solutions. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Valerie. Please give another round of applause. Are any of you already using some of these services? It's just yes, no? Yes. So if I ask you to explain anything, you can? Crickets. No, I'm not going to ask you. Relax. I'm just trying to make sure you're aware of what you're using. All right. Okay, so now we are up for the main presentation of the day, the presentation we've been waiting for. But, sir, do you have my joke? You're drinking water. Where's my joke? Is it ready? It's still work in progress. Hi, now I'm going to fine you. All right, so are you ready for our main presentation today? Wonderful. Please help us welcome. Oh, before we actually get into that, please remember that if you are tweeting or posting anything, the hashtag to use today is hashtag Liquid Tech Tuesday. All right? Liquid Tech Tuesday. My bad. These crickets, I don't like them. Do we know what the hashtag is today? What is it? I hear a lot of mumble, jumble, but it's fine, we'll take it. All right, and then also remember that if you have any questions, take your notes down. Now is the time, and then when we go into our question and answer session, you definitely will have an opportunity to ask the panel. We'll have a panel who will just walk you through what you don't, what you're not clear on, or what you don't understand. And if you don't ask questions, I will ask you questions. And remember me, I can ask questions for days. So please make sure you are involved. All right, please give a round of applause to Executive Head of Cloud and Cybersecurity, Munyaradzi Choto, as he comes up to take us through our presentation. More enthusiasm, more excitement, guys.
Good morning, all. I hope you are supercharged. Not fast charged, but supercharged. So my main presentation really is to look at how liquid intelligent technologies can help you on your digital transformation journey. When we look at digital transformation from a liquid perspective, we are just not saying use digital products in your day-to-day running of the business. Rather, we're looking at improving resilience, agility of your workforce, as well as improving your bottom line. This comes with the digital transformation through the products that we offer as Liquid. So before I move into the exactly what we offer as Liquid, I just want to explain what we call Liquid C2. So C2 means Liquid Cloud and Security, cyber security. So you might have seen in social media, some of the emails, we always talk of Liquid C2. So Liquid C2, basically, we're talking of Liquid Cloud and Liquid Cybersecurity. These are two brands, sub-brands of the Liquid Intelligent Technologies main brand. So the reason we did this is to have a bit more focus, particularly with cybersecurity, where we have partnered with a lot of other providers in the market. You know, companies like Netscope, Cisco, Microsoft, and Fortinet to actually provide solutions. And with Liquid Cloud, our focus there is mainly on platforms, applications, where we've partnered with Microsoft. Basically, it's the main partner. But we also have AWS there. We also have Google as some of the partners that we have on board. And to give focus to these two business units, you can see that for each business unit, we have got portfolios. And for the cloud portfolio, we cover networking. If you need to do Cloud Connect, Direct Connect, it's covered there. We've got Cloud Voice, looking at unified communications, looking at One Voice, which is our Teams. And applications, I think most of you are familiar with this, basically covering your 365 Office applications, as well as Google Workspace, Dynamics, and other applications from different vendors. For the platforms, I think for some of you, you're already using Azure, but we are also bringing awareness to the Azure Stack, which is Microsoft data center here located in Zimbabwe, looking at the platforms. For cybersecurity, we divided it to cyber defense, secure access, as well as secure data, just to bring a bit more focus in terms of what we concentrate on, so that we are able to give you the attention and detail that you require when you're looking at your transformation journey. So in terms of positioning, the Liquid C2, it utilizes our core pillar as a company. Our core pillar is the network, which I think we're looking at about 18 countries or more now, and 100,000 kilometers of fiber. So through that network, we're able to efficiently provide both cybersecurity as well as cloud in all those countries. Just to maybe look at our core competencies in Microsoft, as I said, Microsoft is one of our key partners. As Liquid, we've heavily invested in terms of our people, in terms of the skills that we have to ensure that we are able to serve your needs. So these are some of the gold competencies that we have, and I'm glad to say that this spans across, SME solutions, enterprise solutions that we need to deliver into the market. So that's just a brief background when we are talking about Liquid C2. So next time when you hear Liquid C2, just know that it's cloud and cybersecurity. So as Liquid C2, what is it that we ask ourselves? What do our customers need today? What is their pain point? And we managed to summarize it into 3 unique issues there. So there is an issue of saving costs on remote work. Remote work is now a reality because of the awakening we had through the global pandemic. But also businesses want to cut out on non-essential expenses and also deliver workloads and methods of ensuring that the workforce works efficiently and securely. So this is what we are trying to address as Liquid C2. And for us to address that, it's actually a journey that we go through as Liquid and you as the customer. So we start at the bottom there, where we do the planning. Through our competencies, as I said, we are able to do assessments. And there are various assessments programs. I'm going to touch a bit on that later on, where we assess your current environment and recommend a solution which should be able to help you address issues such as cost savings, efficiency in terms of working. And then the second stage there is to migrate, depending whether you are using an on-premise solution. We are able to assist with the migration. So here we're just basically saying that we are not only going to just provide the licensing or the platform in terms of Azure, but we are also able to assist the service through the migration of the services or products that you are running. And then once you are up and running, we are always there to provide support. You'll see that later on I'll talk of some of the support plans that we offer as Liquid. But we are always there, like Valerie indicated. We are able to get in touch with our account managers as well as our support teams to offer help in case you face issues when you're running your cloud applications. And lastly, you need to evolve. Now that you're on the cloud, what else can I do? What analytics do I need to put in place? Is there more security that I can put on my platform? How else can I reduce costs? So the evolution journey, it also leads to the start again of planning, where we are going to assess again, okay, that we have this solution, what is it that we can do better? Because it's a continuous process of optimization. That's the good thing about cloud. You continuously optimize until you get to a level that you are quite satisfied. So for us to deliver that, we have what we call the Liquid Cloud Managed Services. It's an extension of the general connectivity managed services that we offer. But basically with these C2 managed services, we are offering assessments, workshops, the implementation of the solutions, consultancy services, as well as support plans. The support plans can range from Microsoft 365, as well as Azure support, and other cloud services that you might need support from Liquid. So for the customer, really, it's more like you want to give an expert to handle your environment, whilst you concentrate on what really matters for your business. And this will also enable you to efficiently scale up, increase worker productivity, and also tap into new solutions and services that you can offer within your industry. And for us, really, it's more to do with, we want to increase that customer engagement. We want to walk the transformation journey together, as this will help us, build the relationship between us. At the same time, we're also working with all those cloud providers I mentioned to build our own intellectual property as Liquid that uses these cloud services. Microsoft or Amazon or Google, they do provide, the platform where we can build up. So looking at the requirements from the market, we can actually take that up and offer more diverse solutions. Just a bit of detail in terms of these managed services, focusing specifically on Microsoft, mainly because this is where we have our most core competencies. So in terms of the assessments, we're looking at your application modernization, cost optimization, and again, like with cost optimization, it's a process that takes time. So it's a journey that you need Liquid to be there to assist and offer advice in terms of, okay, what is it that we can do to optimize our costs and probably increase our bottom line. Infrastructure assessment, this is, if you're looking at maybe a situation where you're looking at hybrid environments, we can also assess the infrastructure that we have in place and how well it can work with cloud solutions. So we are saying you don't need to get rid of your infrastructure just because there's cloud. Cloud and on-premise infrastructure can work together to actually bring you a better optimized solution. SQL, virtual desktops, all those things we can provide assessments for. And for support plans, support services, this is where you are basically doing a normal call to Liquid to get support. Maybe you're failing to log in to your platform, or there are issues to do with security that you don't understand, something that we do through just calling our support team. Implementations, again, looking at our experience internally, we have people that are well equipped to do migrations for Azure, SQL, that will leave that burden to Liquid, and you can concentrate on your business. Support plans, lastly. Support plans, when you're looking at cloud, Microsoft 365, we are differentiating it from the, where if you are on a enterprise agreement, you get premium support. But normally with CSP, the way it was designed originally by Microsoft, you are just supposed to buy a subscription and that's that. we have extended further now. You can buy the subscription from Liquid, but you can also get a support plan depending on your environment. And these support plans, you need to inquire within internally for your current subscription, and we can give you maybe a quotation depending on the environment that you have. Again, this under the modern workplace, we're specifically looking at your Microsoft 365 applications, where we also conduct workshops. So we can focus on a workshop for, say, Teams. How can we integrate Teams to work with your PSTN network, local number calling using Microsoft Teams, so that you can efficiently monitor your costs and the communication, collaboration internally. Again, we provide the support services for modern workplace through the support teams that you just call in. And for implementations, we can do full migrations or even hybrid migrations. And as well as SharePoint implementations, we are also capable of doing that. Lastly, with the support plans, same with the Azure support, we also provide support plans catering for your Microsoft 365 applications. So looking at assessments, here this is just a bit more detail. So when you're looking at your infrastructure assessment, we're looking at what applications that are in use and how they are communicating. So this is assessing the environment that you currently have. What is the communication between this particular application to this particular application? Where is it where we can put cloud to increase your efficiency? And if you look at your Windows Virtual Desktop, we're looking at analyzing your application estate, including your current deployment, your current usage, and the data streams and the efficiency of those, so that we can recommend solutions that can help you increase the application's uptime, visibility, and as well as security. Your SQL databases, we can also do some assessments there. Application modernization, looking at identifying and prioritizing web applications for modernization for Azure, basically putting some of the applications that you have in-house, putting them on the cloud, so that in terms of access, people can efficiently, remotely, and securely access those applications. We can also then be freeing up space, resources internally, whilst we utilize the cloud. And lastly, cost optimization. A good thing about cost optimization, it's done before you move to the cloud. You are actually able to get an assessment that says, okay, if you migrate your services to the cloud, you are able to save 30% on your current CapEx or OpEx expenditure for your IT or your applications or the infrastructure that you have. So this is done before you even sign up for cloud. You're able to visualize how much you're going to be saving. So in some cases, as customers, you might, before you embark on a digital transformation journey, you might want to really understand in depth how particular solutions can assist you. So as Liquid C2, we offer workshops as well as proof of value, for all the solutions that we have. So we're able to assess right now that, okay, I want Teams integrated with PSTN. Can you please show me how exactly it works? Can you please show me what is done in the back end? I'm the IT administrator. I need to understand, okay, is my data protected? Is my data being delivered efficiently? We can provide you with workshops for those. Just a bit of depth in terms of the implementations. Email migration, I think this one is quite basic. We are looking at your migration, either you're migrating from an on-premise Exchange server or whether it's a Linux server that is hosting your emails. we can do that implementation as well and migrate to the cloud. We can also do cloud to cloud, that is from Google to Microsoft. It's an implementation that we can do. SharePoint migration, I think I've emphasized this. It's quite something that most companies are slowly adapting to so that they reduce the number of servers that are available on premise by utilizing SharePoint. And I think lastly, I talked about support plans. Support plans, we recently introduced them. This was mainly due to the requests from most of our clients where they did not have any support plan after they buy a subscription from Liquid. So depending with the number of users that you have, depending on the infrastructure that you are utilizing on Azure, we have got custom solutions, custom support plans that would appeal to you. And I'll leave you a form there where you can just fill in your details so that we can discuss further if you need to know more about this, and as well as all the other issues that I talked about in terms of assessments or implementations. Right, so at the end, we started, how can we help our customers as Liquid? So we have got 6 categories. Vendor license cost consolidation. So looking at your current environment after you've done your assessment, we can actually consolidate whether you're using multiple cloud providers. There are chances that most of those applications, most of those services that you have, we can integrate under Microsoft primarily, so that you consolidate your licensing and be able to manage your costs more efficiently. The more you buy, obviously, the better your discounting and the pricing that you get. And we're also looking at reducing total cost of risk, basically by reducing the breaches and enhancing privacy to improve and improving your compliance ratings. IT admin and deployment savings. This is where we are looking now at your mix between your hardware and your software. What is it that we need in terms of hardware? What is it that we are not supposed to buy in the long run in terms of hardware? Because you see that as you go through the digital transformation journey, you might not necessarily need a huge amount of servers. That infrastructure can be hosted in the cloud, giving you the freedom to know that, okay, the infrastructure is with someone else. And that someone else is Microsoft. It's a reputable company. They have got a lot of security measures that they put in place. And I think when we do some of our demonstrations, we're just going to show you a bit in terms of what is it that Microsoft offers in terms of securing and protecting your data. Physical and travel costs, here we're looking at mostly for remote working. Through Microsoft Cloud, you're able to then securely have your people working remotely without the need or burden of having extra hardware or equipment or even extra licenses for software that you need to secure your data. There's also some savings that you get from the automations and the process improvements that you get through the adoption of some of these products that we offer. And CapEx to OpEx cash flow. CapEx is always, your capital expenditure, it's always quite a headache because you need to raise a lot of money to invest in an asset. Whereas what we are saying is with an OpEx model, you are paying a little bit it's pay as you go. You are paying a little bit to utilize the same same services that you were previously utilizing under your on-premise environment. But you can also get more because there's more utility when you're looking at cloud. So this is where Liquid Intelligent Technologies comes into play in your digital transformation journey. we can take you from point A to point success. So finally, here, if you've got a smartphone, you can use your camera to scan that code. This code will lead you to a form, a Microsoft form. If you want to, have a one-on-one session with representatives from Liquid, please fill in that, and then we can do a follow-up and schedule accordingly. But all the issues that I talked about there as well. If you need workshops to be conducted, if you need any assessments to be done, please let us know. We can then be able to assist you there. Thank you so much.
All right, please give him another round of applause. May we all stand, please? Were we all following the presentation? Were we all following the presentation? I'm not going to ask you questions. You are fine. You are safe. Okay, just wiggle your legs. Come on, wiggle your legs. Wiggle your legs. Wiggle your legs. All right, it is 11:25. We're going to take a quick break. And we will be back in here at 11:40, ready for a demonstration of products from Tinashe and Martin. All right? Does that sound like something you want to do? All right, so you can take a quick break.
Do you want to move your on-prem service to the cloud and reduce your hardware cost? It's time to migrate to the cloud with Microsoft Azure. Azure Cloud Migration, powered by Liquid Intelligent Technologies, empowers your business with cost-effective solutions for secure data storage. With cloud migration, you'll never have to worry about overspending on building infrastructure, hardware and software updates, and server upkeep and recovery.
Hi, I'm David Brooks, and I'm the Azure guy here at Liquid. Moving to the cloud can be an incredibly daunting prospect, but it doesn't have to be. By engaging with Liquid, we will start to understand exactly where you are today and where you want to go, all the time introducing you to new technologies and new ways of working, helping to make you more efficient and able to react to things happening in your market.
You can cut the cost of hosting your own data center, and you won't even have to worry about the equipment, software, and licensing. The best part? With Azure Cloud Migration, you can safeguard your company's data by using advanced data protection and recovery processes. Introduce modernization with Azure. Let Liquid Intelligent Technologies simplify your journey to the cloud. Do you want to move your on-prem service to the cloud and reduce your hardware cost? It's time to migrate to the cloud with Microsoft Azure. Azure Cloud Migration, powered by Liquid Intelligent Technologies, empowers your business with cost-effective solutions for secure data storage. With cloud migration, you'll never have to worry about overspending on building infrastructure, hardware and software updates, and server upkeep and recovery.
Hi, I'm David Brooks, and I'm the Azure guy here at Liquid. Moving to the cloud can be an incredibly daunting prospect, but it doesn't have to be. By engaging with Liquid, we will start to understand exactly where you are today and where you want to go, all the time introducing you to new technologies and new ways of working, helping to make you more efficient and able to react to things happening in your market.
You can cut the cost of hosting your own data center, and you won't even have to worry about the equipment, software, and licensing. The best part? With Azure Cloud Migration, you can safeguard your company's data by using advanced data protection and recovery processes. Introduce modernization with Azure. Let Liquid Intelligent Technologies simplify your journey to the cloud. Do you want to move your on-prem service to the cloud and reduce your hardware cost? It's time to migrate to the cloud with Microsoft Azure. Azure Cloud Migration, powered by Liquid Intelligent Technologies, empowers your business with cost-effective solutions for secure data storage. With cloud migration, you'll never have to worry about overspending on building infrastructure, hardware and software updates, and server upkeep and recovery.
Hi, I'm David Brooks, and I'm the Azure guy here at Liquid. Moving to the cloud can be an incredibly daunting prospect, but it doesn't have to be. By engaging with Liquid, we will start to understand exactly where you are today and where you want to go, all the time introducing you to new technologies and new ways of working, helping to make you more efficient and able to react to things happening in your market.
You can cut the cost of hosting your own data center, and you won't even have to worry about the equipment, software, and licensing. The best part? With Azure Cloud Migration, you can safeguard your company's data by using advanced data protection and recovery processes. Introduce modernization with Azure. Let Liquid Intelligent Technologies simplify your journey to the cloud. Do you want to move your on-prem service to the cloud and reduce your hardware cost? It's time to migrate to the cloud with Microsoft Azure. Azure Cloud Migration, powered by Liquid. Are your teams prepared to work with and support cloud-based solutions? Do you want to get the most out of your cloud environment? Do you want to make remote work more productive for your people? Liquid Intelligent Technologies has the answer. Our managed and professional services extend comprehensive assessments and workshops to help your teams master the art of cloud-based tools.
Hi, my name is Prashindera, Product Manager for Cloud Managed Services. At Liquid Cloud, our managed and professional services is what allows you to focus on what you do best, while we utilize our team of 60+ cloud experts to ensure that your cloud services are firstly a good fit for your business, deployed correctly, and supported continuously. Our services are categorized into 4 key buckets with the aim to ensure that we can support you regardless of your current cloud adoption. These 4 phases are discover, plan, deploy, and support. The value to you is that you have access to a single provider, a single point of contact that does it all at a fraction of the cost.
In addition, utilize our cloud experts to deploy your solution and deliver round-the-clock support. Leverage our experienced team to propel your business towards success. What's in it for us? We want local African businesses to compete on a global level. Partner up with Liquid Intelligent Technologies today to elevate your business. Intelligent Technologies empowers your business with cost-effective solutions for secure data storage. With cloud migration, you'll never have to worry about overspending on building infrastructure, hardware and software updates, and server upkeep and recovery.
Hi, I'm David Brooks, and I'm the Azure guy here at Liquid. Moving to the cloud can be an incredibly daunting prospect, but it doesn't have to be. By engaging with Liquid, we will start to understand exactly where you are today and where you want to go, all the time introducing you to new technologies and new ways of working, helping to make you more efficient and able to react to things happening in your market.
Introduce modernization with Azure. Let Liquid Intelligent Technologies simplify your journey to the cloud.
It's only 4 minutes for me to say good afternoon. So good morning and then good afternoon. So before we get started on this demo or presentation, I just want to address the elephant in the room. Investigate or find out who is doing what here in terms of cracked software. But what we like out or to culture. Organization to bear. Just to quickly get you'll find that in terms of when we're talking about businesses and enterprises, you'll find that it talks predominantly around applications that are provided on the cloud in addition to the traditional applications that we have been used to. So when we're talking of the traditional applications, this is where you find the likes of our Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? Point online basic ability and enrich it for you to work better with your teams. So in terms of today's particular demo, we're going to focus on with the placement of this solution in terms of how it gets you to get more done within the organization, how you can work better together as separate teams or as team members within the same department or even within the different various groupings of your organization. Then we speak into how then it helps you to build your business. I understand generally the main goal of IT within organizations is to build the business, to make it achieve the main goals of that business much better and more effectively. So we come in with Microsoft 365 and the perspective through which it actually helps you build your business. Then we look into safeguarding your data. Whenever we talk about the cloud, there's always that fear that there's a huge security risk. So when we talk of the cloud, I'm going to actually demonstrate to you how your data is actually secured. That's just scraping the surface of what this product is capable of doing, but it gives you an idea of what you should be using for those who are already subscribed to the solution and what you can actually use for those who haven't already subscribed. And then, of course, we simplify everything for you. We're going to show you, you get to actually see how simple and easy it is. For organizations without a dedicated IT department, even someone from accounts is actually capable of actually going through a step-by-step process of actually doing the various implementations and tweaking that you can do with the solution. So this is basically speaking around what I'm going to actually walk through, which is looking at the different tenets of what Microsoft 365 is all about, and how we're going to get more done, how we're going to work better together, how we're going to build business through the different applications that are available on the solution, and the actual layered approach to your security, which speaks to how you protect from threats. These are your external threats. How you protect yourselves from internal threats, which are usually related to your data leaks, be it intentional or accidental, and how you can actually even control access to specific data. There are documents that are meant for consumption by specific groups of people or specific people, and not for consumption by other people within the same organization. And then, of course, the whole simplicity of the solution when you're looking at it from a mobility perspective on mobile devices, as well as, our traditional laptops and desktops. Then the key solutions that we're looking at on Microsoft 365, basically the big picture is all about, as IT, you have an option, of course, of bringing solutions that are coming from different vendors. Third-party solutions. If you're looking at your device management, you can actually get a solution from one vendor. When you're looking at your data archiving, you can get another solution from another vendor. Then your data loss prevention, your email threat protection, we're talking about your spam protection, how you do your email filtering, what antivirus you're using, and then, of course, in terms of chat, storage, and the actual productivity software. All this can be provided by different vendors. But Microsoft has managed to actually bring everything within the Microsoft 365 suite, where you'll find that everything is integrated into one solution, and where you find all these being, stacked on one end here. You find your solutions are being stacked. Some may not be the best fit. They may not fit in well with each other. When you're on Microsoft 365, everything fits in seamlessly on one solution, on one package that you only pay as one subscription, and you're getting everything in one solution. So that's the whole point of the Microsoft 365 suite in your digital transformation journey. So I will get into the actual demo. So for this demo, we will look into, a simple story about a lady called Megan, who is essentially a business owner. We'll look into her concerns when you're looking at the Microsoft 365 solution, and what she could be doing within the organization in terms of how she communicates and collaborates with her peers within the organization. So just as a quick start, one of the key solutions that is a huge anchor on the Microsoft 365 solution, and you'll find that as we go forward, it will be very difficult to talk about this product without talking about Microsoft Teams. So we're looking at Microsoft Teams. This is like your main hub of collaboration within the organization. When you're doing your digital transformation, one thing you want to make sure is people are able to communicate effectively. People are able to exchange information effectively. So, as a start, I'm sure we normally think of this as a competitor to maybe, your traditional solutions like your Zoom, but Microsoft Teams is capable of doing far much more beyond just meetings. So when we're dealing with, communication and collaboration outside meetings, Microsoft Teams comes in as the hub where you'll find their groupings. As an example here, Megan is basically running an organization. She's actually a member of an organization called Contoso Electronics, where they have what we call the X1050 launch team. The 10X50 launch team is basically a team that's working on the various aspects around a product launch, right? So they have a general channel where all the team members within that organization are able to communicate, as you can see there. And then from that channel, they can then subdivide their different discussion topics into, for example, the design aspects of that product. So in the design aspects of that product, when they interact, they are able to communicate using the rich tools that are available. I'm sure most of you have used WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. The traditional chat capabilities of making use of GIFs or GIFs, whatever you want to pick. You're able to also group, your communication into, different specific conversation points where you can then have different comments that are actually quite organized in a way that you don't get lost in translation. So when you're talking about, for example, usability testing, you are able to see what the whole story was all about and what the responses have been for everyone as they have been actually responding to that particular conversation point. And then, of course, in addition to that, within that particular team, you are also able to track and to keep your documents in a secure place. Gone are the days where a document will be owned by one person, and when that person leaves the organization, they can actually go with those documents and the entire organization will be stuck. So all documents shared within teams belong to the organization. So as you can see there, the design notebook has been created there. All the notes taken in that notebook will belong to the team, and they will not be lost when the person who created it, or maybe when Megan leaves the organization. And then you can also talk about, the different applications that organizations use in their different day-to-day work. So this is where you'll find, applications like your Power BI for your reports. If you're talking about, your programmers for tracking of your code, your Bitbucket can actually be attached to a team. And that actually brings that information that matters the most to that organization or to that grouping close to your fingertips. And then we also look into, for example, from within that team, you're able to, of course, manage your meetings, which is what's a communication tool if you're not able to have meetings. So you can manage your meetings, create a meeting where you can actually, as a design review here, where you can either invite the entire team without having to actually specify specific individuals within the team, or if you want to invite specific people, you can actually specify whom you want to invite to that team. So in this instance, this is a meeting between Megan and Enrico. And then beyond that, of course, the general 1v1 chat can also be achieved. There's always that need for people to talk 1v1. It's a private chat. Only the two people who are conversing can actually see what they're talking about. So they can chat, or they can actually engage on a phone call. So as you can see there, Megan can actually call Linda, and they can then have a 1v1 talk, as opposed to the general meeting where you can invite multiple people. And then we go into your email solutions. I believe almost everyone who is on Office 365, the first thing that you take on after licensing your Office applications will be the Exchange Online platform. The Outlook solution comes with an intelligent interface where you are able to actually intelligently separate the noise, from the critical information. So from your emails, you have your focused and your other inbox where you can have, the general, newsletters and stuff put into one section instead of generally grouping them as spam when they're not. And you can have your focused inbox where you can then focus on, the key emails within the organization. And then from that email, you can actually, you have options to actually flag your emails for follow-up. The traditional, general email functionality that most of you may not be using, but it's just nice to know. And of course, there's also an idea of also flagging your emails for importance, depending on, just how you want to organize your emails. And then from there, from within the email, you also have options of actually replying to an email, where you can actually reply by actually setting a meeting, as an example there. So when you're replying as a meeting, you're essentially saying that, to get rid of the back and forth, one email after another, you can just reply to all by sending out a meeting invite directly from that email conversation, and everyone within the thread will be invited to that meeting. And of course, From that point, you also have options to manage your calendar. Again, this is a rich calendar experience where you can actually have shared calendars, and your calendars can actually be shared either with, if you're talking of the executives, they can share these calendars with their PAs, and you can also bring in calendars from external providers. For example, if you want to keep track of your soccer matches, I do that. You can actually bring, the Premier League calendar as an example into your calendar for easy tracking. So this is just the idea of bringing external parties into your calendar. And then, of course, the different teams that we were talking about earlier on can also then be roped in. If there are group meetings and group events, they can also be roped or pulled into your calendar. And as you can see there, the X1050 meetings can actually be identified there as the X1015 meetings in green there, and they're well highlighted for you to distinguish between what meeting is what. And then from there, of course, another critical thing, we all know about PowerPoint, Word, Excel, those traditional applications. But one of the key functionality that is coming in for end users is the ability to actually author documents. As you can see here, Megan will be authoring, it's a presentation, an investor proposal, where they're able to add, rich content into their PowerPoint presentation there. And then once they're done with this presentation, they can actually share this presentation using OneDrive. So they can actually use OneDrive or SharePoint. They can share this with a peer, maybe someone who is also supposed to contribute to that presentation from OneDrive. Once that document has been shared, the recipient can also open this document and be able to co-author. As you can see there, Lydia will be able, maybe just to zoom in just a little bit there, Lydia there will be able to come in and also edit the same document at the same time that Megan will be working on that document. And there is automated version control all involved in this that actually takes away this whole idea of, as you're authoring a document, what version are you on? You send it to who has the latest version. That document automatically maintains the latest version, where you also have the option to actually revert back to an older version whenever the need arises. And you can also track changes on who has done what, where, on what document. So from a user experience, that's the basics of Microsoft 365. There's a lot more to explore, but due to the limited time frame that we have, we'll actually then skip into the sweet spot, what I call my favorite areas of Microsoft 365, which is now looking into the security aspects and the data loss prevention, which is very important when you're within a business. So from an administrator, I take it most of us here are within the IT team. Of course, those who are not within the IT team, fear not. I'm not diving into a lot of technicalities, but this is just to give you an appreciation of what is possible. And as a business user, this is what you can actually request from your administrators or from us, if we're supporting you, to actually implement for you, if you want to really make full use and to get the full benefits of going onto the Microsoft 365 cloud solution. So one of the key things, I take it, how many here within this organization, within this group, sorry, how many here have experienced spam, or who have received spam email? Or should I ask, who has never received spam? Who is daring enough to say they've never received spam? Okay, so I take it everyone here has experienced it. On a personal basis, even on an organizational basis, right? One of the key solutions that is there is Exchange Online, and I've just mentioned Teams there. We have Martin here, who is the team leader for implementations within the cloud team. He's leading actually the Southern African team. I believe he has experienced a lot in terms of collaboration. He works with a lot of people, some of his team members are working from Zambia, some in South Africa, some are actually local, and most of us are working from home. We have worked with customers without having to actually visit your premises. I'm sure some of you have had your projects implemented by Martin's team. So I'm actually calling over Martin here to come and just cover, some of his experience around Microsoft Teams, as well as, things around spam, some of the common issues that he has come across. Then I actually return and finish off on showcasing what the product is capable of doing. Martin.
Thank you, Tinashe. I'll start with a confession. It's very safe. It's very safe. Okay, so this is my first time standing in front of a crowd since high school. Since high school, and I hope I understood the assignment today. Okay, so based on what Tinashe, the Regional Chief Information Officer, the Public Sector Executive, and the C2 Executive shared with you earlier, I'm just going to speak from experience so that the IT guys who are here, we can relate. Okay, so Tinashe was explaining about teams and collaboration. So this is what happens, especially if you're in Zimbabwe. You're going to realize that when COVID hit, companies had to adapt. And with Liquid, I think it's our culture to just adapt even if no one has told you to adapt. You just have to adapt. So I lead a team of 4. I hope it's worth mentioning. The other people in my team are all women, and one is sitting there, my day. The reason why I mentioned that is we have managed to use Teams, to use the tools that have enabled us to collaborate. So with regards to adapting, you're going to realize that as an organization, you are actually forced to find ways to fine-tune your processes to the extent where if a problem comes from a customer, remember we are supporting more than, it's Zambia, it's DRC, it's South Africa, we're supporting more than 50 customers. And each day you realize that you can receive, say, more than 50 tickets. And we're only just 4. So how we've done it. So there is Office 365. I come from a Linux background. So I've worked with your Red Hat, your Ubuntu, your Postfix, all those other email systems that a lot of traditional organizations are using. So this is how we've done it. Using Teams, we have managed to collaborate to create groups like what Tinashe was showing you. These groups are meant for us as a team to say, if there is an issue that has happened, a customer, either my day can't really fix it, we use that group in Teams to collaborate. And given that we are supporting customers in DRC, imagine the language barrier. DRC is French, by the way. And Outlook, I didn't know actually. They can actually write you an email in French and reply it in English, then you can convert it in French. So you'll be using the native tools that are in Office 365. So this is how we've done it. We are using Teams, we are using a ticketing system, we are using email. Those are all part of the digital transformation journey that we've managed to embark on. And moving on to email security, I'm in operations, and anyone can attest. If you're in operations, you have to find ways to support your customers. So, in essence, if you look at email, where we've come from, where we've generally come from, you're going to realize that if you're running a mail server on-prem, the kind of complexity of the attacks that we're getting right now, your email system that you're running on your on-prem is not going to do justice. Taking back what Tinashe was saying, Tinashe was talking about email security. We have got phishing. I hope everyone understands phishing. Should I explain? Let me explain anyway. Okay, I'll try to uncomplicate it. Phishing is more like, for the IT guys, it's more like a man in the middle attack. So a man in the middle attack, what it means is you've got three people. The first person is supposed to talk to the third person. Then you've got the second person who's sort of trying to get what the first person is saying, then relaying it to the third person. The only downside is the second person is not trying to relay what this person is saying. He wants to change what the first person is saying so that he can relay to the third person. So I'll give a very good example of phishing. If you use email often or every day, you're going to realize, like for example, like at Liquid, what we do is we have got this, I would say it's more like a weekly thing, where you get sent some test emails so that you can see if it's phishing. Now I know by head, even if I see it, I just know that this is phishing, this is not. So basically what happens is, you have got emails that are sent from someone purporting to be someone else, requesting money to be released to a certain party. That's an example of phishing. So Office 365 has got the capabilities of protecting you for any phishing attack that you get. I know a lot of our customers are using Exchange Online in its vanilla form. And I would urge you, that will make my job easier actually, to subscribe to features like Defender, features like DLP, like what Tinashe was explaining. You are growing as an organization, you're adding more people. It's imperative that you actually consider having those. Then lastly, I'm going to talk about multi-factor authentication. Okay, all the organizations currently on Liquid right now, we are asking everyone to configure multi-factor authentication. Okay, multi-factor authentication is not just for Office 365. If you've got your Gmail, if you've got your device where you've got a service that you use, we are actually urging you, if you can, to configure multi-factor authentication. And I think Tinashe is going to explain more a bit on multi-factor authentication. I don't want to be technical about it, but we're urging all organizations, if you are here and you haven't enabled multi-factor for your tenant, then I would urge you to actually configure it. And the reason is I have a lot of tickets, I won't mention the number, where we've got these attacks and customers will be coming in and say, how can we help with this? What should we do? So I would say, I would leave this here. Your answer is multi-factor authentication and all the security features that Tinashe is going to further explain using the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Martin. So that's the experience that the actual operations team has gone through, so that you actually get to see that this is not just a sales session. This is more of a conversation that we want to look into, which speaks to how best you can avoid the common pitfalls around the cloud, and how you can leverage the existing tools that are there that you already may have subscribed to or that you're considering subscribing to going forward. So what you're seeing there on the screen is what we call the Microsoft 365 Security Center. I'm sure most of the administrators may be wondering, is it just a home screen? Is it just information that's just being shown to you for the sake of it? What you find on Microsoft 365 for anyone, whether you're on Exchange Online alone or you have subscribed to the entire Business Premium package or Enterprise package, on this Security Center, what information is actually displayed to you whenever an administrator logs in. So for those in business, just take note, your administrators, they are able to tell the security posture of the organization. In as much as Microsoft 365 will come in with preset common practice, configurations, there are certain areas where you are supposed to harden your security based on your different organizations' requirement. There are certain organizations that may require further hardening of their security environment, or there are certain organizations that may require further relaxation of that environment, depending on how they perceive their staff and their own risk appetite. So looking into the security center, one of the key features that is available if you're looking at Megan's day-to-day life when you're dealing with phishing is, one of the common tricks that is used in phishing is someone may receive a link that is actually pretending to be a link to a certain valid document. I know the most common one is someone might pretend to have made a mistake to send a salary schedule. I know everyone is curious to see who earns what, right? So you receive an email that says, someone in HR has mistakenly sent you the list of everyone's salaries, and you get all excited. The first thing you're going to do is, before you open it, you forward it to some of your peers, gossip, grapevine. Then you also want to actually read the contents. You click on that link. It requests for your username and password. It looks a lot like a Microsoft site. Or it looks a lot like your email provider, be it Gmail or whatever other provider. It looks like a document that is attached on your maybe Google Docs. It requests for your username and your password. You provide that, and boom, guess what? You've just provided your username and your password to someone else who is not actually the intended login portal that you thought you were logging into. What happens is that person will keep those credentials for a day or two, or even weeks or months, and later on they will log in into your account. They will then extract most of the information that is very sensitive within the organization. The organization is exposed. Certain lists, certain documents that should not be in the public might end up leaking, depending on whatever that person wants to do once they get your credentials. The end of the story is you don't want that to happen. IT administrators, this is your solution. Microsoft 365 has a portal where you have what we call ATP safe links. ATP standing for Advanced Threat Protection Safe Links. For those who are taking notes, please take note. I said Advanced Threat Protection Safe Links. What this one simply does is it allows an administrator to essentially specify what happens whenever a URL that looks suspicious or that has suspicious content. What happens when that link is clicked by a user. So there's a concept that we then call URL rewriting. And when we're rewriting a URL, we're essentially saying that every URL is going to be masked into a sort of like a test site where if you open it, automatically behind the scenes, there's an AI engine that will test that link. And then if it's deemed safe by that AI engine running behind the scenes on Microsoft 365, it is then passed to the user safely. If it's not, you then, as an administrator, there are options that you can actually pick up. So as you can see, these are some of the options that you can do whenever the content comes in. You can either choose whether to track those links or not at your own risk. Again, this depends on how you want to set up for your organization. Then you can also block and say, do not let users click through safe links to the original URL. This is just protecting your users. So we have this actually set up here, which is the safe links configuration. There is an option, there's certain, people groupings within the organization. For example, IT, there's certain links that they have access to. You may not necessarily want to block them. Maybe in marketing, there's certain types of links that you don't necessarily want to block. They are genuine links, but they look like suspicious links, but they know they're genuine. There's always that discretion for you to not to block everything. You want to make the work environment still usable. So you can actually then specify who is affected by whatever policy you are setting. So as an example there, you can then specify maybe people within this particular organization have been specified to be affected by this rule around safe links. So what then happens when someone actually receives an email? So there is Brian Johnson here, who has, as you can see, this is Brian Johnson. This is a funny looking email, m365b whatnot at gmail.com. They forwarded a certain link to a certain document, maybe for booking of flights. This looks genuine. And Megan opens that link. This is what happens when Megan then opens that link. Megan has been protected. So what they actually get is an alert around, the website has been blocked by this particular policy. The same concept applies to, if you're looking at attachments, you can receive links, you can also receive attachments. There's what we call a detonation chamber. Some attachments may contain viruses, they can contain, malware, what other common, your Trojans, whatever malicious software you want, you can think of. So safe attachments, again, there's an option for one to actually configure a policy, maybe just to zoom in, where if an attachment has been received, you are able to actually set up to say, okay, continue to deliver the message, which might continue malware, but just track and scan the results, right? So as the administrator, they'll get the results, and then they can always then pick up, where the attachment went, who received it. If it eventually then spreads to the organization, which you don't want to see happen, you still have that option to track back where it originated from, and you can then set your remediation processes to ensure that it doesn't happen again. You can actually entirely block an unsafe attachment, or you can even redirect an attachment that is unsafe. So if you want to further inspect it, you have a security department, you can then forward that attachment maybe to the security department, to your cybersecurity department, or to Liquid, who can actually then help you through our managed services team that Munya was talking about, to further analyze and inspect the possible solutions that you can then look into such attacks. And then, of course, again, the same concept of setting up redirect rules. If an email comes through, if it's deemed unsafe, you can always redirect it to someone, or you can ignore that, or you can block it entirely. All that is available for you. And as you can see, rules, there are always options to specify whom those rules apply to. And again, when you're looking at safe attachments, there's also the anti-phishing. You may not necessarily want to deal with the actual links or the actual attachments. You may also want to look at the ability to actually maybe intelligently detect, the common method that phishing is done by is by impersonation. Someone might actually pretend to be the CEO. Someone may pretend to be the CFO, right? And they can actually, I'm sure some organizations, some of you may have experienced this way. Someone can come in pretending to be the CEO, directing a payment to be paid elsewhere, or authorizing a certain payment, or even changing an attachment that contains maybe banking details, and you end up making a payment to a wrong person within the organization. Those are some of the consequences of phishing, and you want to make sure that your organization is protected from all that. Microsoft 365 will actually have rules around anti-phishing. As an example, what you can see here is the ability to actually specify which users you want to prevent from being impersonated. So these are your CEOs, your executives in most cases, or your finance handlers. You just want to make sure that those users are at high risk. They should be protected. They should not be impersonated. So there's an AI engine, machine learning engine that then picks, the location from which an email is being sent. From email headers, you can always pick that up. There's a whole lot of other metrics that are used to identify that this is a potential impersonation. And then you can then specify even domains that you want to make sure that are not impersonated. As organizations, as IT, one of the hardest things is you don't have control over who registers what domain. That's beyond you, right? For example, you can have liquidintelligenttechnologies.com. and someone malicious can simply register liquidintelligenttechnologies.co.zw, and they'll start sending out emails pretending to be Liquid. You don't have control over that. So that kind of impersonation, you want to make sure that it's intelligently detected by the solution. And Microsoft 365, if you're not already using this, again, we are very much available to assist you and ensure that you're able to make use of these solutions. So you prevent such impersonation, and you can specify, actions on what happens if an email has been detected as a potential impersonation. Send it to junk, quarantine it. There's a special quarantine box that only administrators can have access to, or there is just a junk mail box that everyone else has access to. So you can actually then specify those rules at admin level without having to go through, individual accounts, individual user accounts to do this configuration. So this will be a global configuration. And when that email has been detected, what then happens? You want to make sure that, Okay, so you can actually specify the actions. So as an example, we are going to move that specific email into a junk mail box if it's detected as an impersonation. And of course, you can also show tips. If an email is going to be delivered maybe to someone's inbox, I've received an email from maybe Chemplex.com, Liberty. I've received an email from Chemplex.com, and I know Chemplex uses the domain maybe chemplex.co.zw. It's been detected as an impersonation. I get actually a tip. As I'm reading the email, there's actually a message right at the top that specifies that this email is possibly an impersonation. That then gives me, the ability, the information or the alert, so that I can call Liberty and confirm if he indeed is the person who sent me that email. That's another additional layer of protection that you're getting from the Microsoft 365 platform. If you were to get other solutions, you then, as I've mentioned earlier on, you have to purchase a whole lot of third-party solutions. All this is coming in built into the solution, and all you're doing, as you can see, these are just flags. All that's there is click on it, it's on, save, and you're done. Your users are already protected. It's just clicks of a button, very simple. And then when you're looking into mail intelligence, there's certain concepts where, AI can then be employed to see the tone, conversation, what kind of emails does this particular person normally send, and then all of a sudden someone then sends you something with a different tone. That AI behind the scenes is able to detect all this. And again, this is just the click of a button. You're not purchasing servers to process all this information. This is all made available for you from the cloud. Microsoft is managing the infrastructure for you. Liquid is supporting the technical know-how and the technical knowledge, pointing you where to click, pointing you where not to click. And again, once this is done, your organization is protected. Then another very interesting functionality you are looking into is what we call conditional access. And by conditional access, for those taking notes, conditional access sounds like a lecture. Conditional access, this is an idea whereby Martin was talking about multi-factor authentication. And he can also attest that when we're talking multi-factor authentication, it can be a very, how does the word user unfriendly exist? It can be very difficult for your ordinary user. I'm sure everyone else, the technical guys, you're fine, you're comfortable with, logging in, username, password, you're asked to enter a code, SMS. But for a number of organizations that we've activated multi-factor authentication for, the outcry that usually comes with that is, this thing is just impossible to log in. I don't understand this. We're taking too long to log in. It's taking time for me to receive my SMS. I've left my phone. You will find a whole lot of excuses. But it's a necessary evil, I tell you. Believe me. So what conditional access then does for you is, this is another very nice to have functionality on Office 365. You can configure a policy whereby From that policy, again, you specify who is affected by that policy. Usually, your high-risk users, you want to make sure that they're always protected. And so this is where you're specifying the actual users. This is actually just going through to all employees, as an example here. And on that condition, what conditions you're able to do is, as an example here, we all know whenever you're accessing any system, there is metadata, there's information that is already known about. One thing is which device that user is accessing the system from. So on Office 365, you know the Microsoft 365 basically will be able to detect what device is being used to access company data. So that's, is it a phone? I'm sure most of us are mobile right now. I see you have your tablets on, you're looking at your phones, you're receiving your emails, yeah. So it's quite important for an organization to then be able to detect, number one, the device. You should be able to detect the location from which that person is accessing company information from. We're working from home. We don't want to restrict people from accessing information from anywhere. You know, the whole concept of the modern workplace is on mobility. You should be able to move around, you should be able to access, work, send, reply to emails. I'm replying to your email right from here at any point in time, so don't worry, I don't have to go back to the office, right? He gets the joke. So the idea is, when you're looking at conditional access, we're now speaking to, people moving around. And when you're looking at locations, you can then set up what we call safe locations. For example, within your network, you've set up measures to protect everyone within your network. But when someone is on their mobile device and they're using mobile data on Net1 or Econet or Telecel, you don't have control over that, right? So what you can do is you can then say, if someone is at work, there's no need for them to provide multi-factor authentication. So they can just provide their username and password. Everyone is happy. But the moment they start accessing their data, or they start accessing organizational data from outside the organization, they have to provide a third factor. Why that is important? Anyone can be anyone the moment you leave the organization. But when you're within the organization, maybe you have your Sophos device, Abraham. He has actually helped you with your configuration for Sophos. You're very much secure when you're within your organization. But when they're outside, you can then set up that extra layer of protection to say, if we automatically detect that someone is outside, protect that person, we need further verification that you're the correct person, right? This also speaks into, intelligently detecting, simple concepts like it's really impossible for someone to be accessing organizational data in Harare right now. And 5 minutes later, I'm accessing data from Dubai. How did I get there? So when that sudden movement or sudden jump in locations is detected, an extra layer of authentication is provided. We don't block, we request extra authentication. Why we don't block? Maybe you're using a VPN. We do appreciate that. So you're still able to allow people to use their preferred VPNs, access from information from Dubai, but you can still pick up and provide that extra layer of authentication. So as you can see there, you can then specify, what happens when something has been detected as a risky sign-in, as an example. You can even entirely block access, or you can require multi-factor authentication, require the device maybe to be marked as compliant. This speaks to issues around compliance. Some of you at home, maybe you're not allowed to have passwords on your phone, right? Or a PIN on your phone. You want to make sure everyone has access to the device, right? So it's a risk for an organization, especially if that device is going to be accessing maybe company emails. So you can block that and force a rule whereby if you're going to use a phone to access our emails, you have to have a PIN. Explain that to your wife or your husband, that it's a company policy requirement. But again, from an administrative perspective, you are able to actually enforce that. That's the power of Microsoft 365. And then, You know, there's a lot of functionality you can look into. You know, some of the things around data loss prevention. How many here are coming from, I know, heavily in the regulated industries like the finance sector? Those coming from banks? I know you. All right, thank you. So those coming from banks, as an example, I'm sure your different industries have different requirements when it comes to data protection. You have your own intellectual property. You have information that you want to make sure that is protected within the organization. This is now insider risk. You've dealt with phishing, you've dealt with everything else. Now you want to make sure that there is no accidental loss. You know, someone can accidentally send out a list, you know, to say, his name is Tinashe. He always used to say, kuti Tinashe kwakafane kuti Munu. It's a very popular name, right? I have received emails that are not intended to be received by myself just simply because my name is Tinashe and there are just so many Tinashes all over, right? So Liberty, sorry Liberty. So Liberty here is sending an email to Tinashe within his organization, and it ends up sending that email with very sensitive information. Maybe he's in finance. It's a list of maybe credit card details that they're exchanging with their peers to another Tinashe within the department. And he ends up sending it to me. I now have the discretion to do what I want to do with those credit cards, right? So Microsoft 365 has what we call data loss prevention that helps you prevent such accidents. Right. I'm calling them accidents because I would like to believe everyone who's hired is a trusted person, right? So, for example, under PCI DSS data, as an example in finance, you are able to configure a policy whereby you can find content within maybe Teams messages, within emails that contain sensitive information, be it IDs. You can even use your own regular expressions. You can use your credit card numbers. And from there, you can set, you know, maybe you want to make sure that every time someone sends a credit card number to someone, they should be alerted that they're about to send out sensitive information. So when you do that configuration, as you can see there, you are able here, again, someone is, I'm sending out an email to Brian, and then this is the information he asked for, that's a credit card number. Try it out, maybe there's a lot of money, eh? And then the moment I try to send that email, you will see that there's going to be a policy tip that comes up that then specifies that, you know, you have the discretion to configure whatever message, but this is saying that the email you're about to send out conflicts with your organization's policy. You're not allowed to send out credit card numbers on email. Maybe you're supposed to attach them to a file, put them on a flash, encrypt them, send them somewhere. You have your policies within your different industries. So you actually have that discretion to be able to block out, you know, accidental data exfiltration, right? And even when you're doing even on attachments, again, when someone tries to send out an attachment, you now have that option to encrypt that data. It's inbuilt within Office 365. When you encrypt it, it ensures that the recipient who receives that email is the only person who is able to open that email. So the whole point being, you know, Microsoft 365 is very much a capable platform when it comes to, you know, automated data security and, you know, making sure that you're very much safe within the workspace. And that particular space within the digital transformation journey of your organization, I believe should be very critical. And as Liquid, we're here to help, to assist, to ensure that you are very much protected when you're on the cloud, and you are very much able to get the return on investment on this particular solution. Thank you. That's the end of my demo.
All right, did you enjoy that? Please give him another round of applause if you did. All right, so I will now call up my panelists to just take their seats so we can begin the question and answer session. I am taking it by your response. You have a lot of questions, yes? Crickets. It's okay. I have questions to ask you. It's fine. All right. So my panelists, Tinashe Chijigausiku, Munyaradzi Choto, and Maide Muchena, please give them a round of applause as they head up to the podium. Why are you confusing me? Please give them a round of applause. An enthusiastic one. Enthusiastic, guys. Enthusiastic round of applause. Ah. All right, so we're going to get this session off. And, okay, Arthur is gone. So I'm going to stand up and go around the room. This end, and then you can go that end. You can go to that end, I'll come this end. Does anybody want to start the session off? Oh, okay, that was quick. Please give him a round of applause for being the brave one. And when you are asking your question, please introduce yourself, the organization you represent, and then ask your question. If it's directed at someone specific, then you can mention them as well. Otherwise, they will distribute the answers amongst themselves.
Good afternoon. My name is Benson. I'm Pandawan. I'm representing Table Mining. So my question is on, maybe to Tinashe, it's on security. So with the DLP that you were talking about, I wanted to understand, is it a separately licensed product, or it's included within the product suites that you have? For example, like Exchange Online or the Business Standard. Is it a separate licensed product, or it's included? Thank you.
All right, thank you for that question. Essentially the DLP, there's certain aspects of it that are actually included into all your licenses. So if you're looking at your Exchange Online, you're going to find aspects around the policy tips around sending out emails. They're actually included. In particular, if you get the Exchange Online Plan 2, this is where you find a lot of the enterprise functionality being available in terms of what you can then do with the policy tips on the targeted vector, which is email. Business Standard, Business Basic, Business Premium, in terms of the actual suits that combine a whole lot of solutions, they include data loss prevention. Again, if you're on business, there's certain functionality that is available, and if you're on enterprise packages, there's certain functionality again that is then available. So when we engage, normally we look into what exactly you need to achieve, and we look at the least cost route to achieving that if you want to implement DLP.
All right, thank you. Another question?
Thank you. My name is Byron Mtingwe, and I am coming from Spiked Online Media. My question goes to Mr. Hamilton. Which areas, particularly referring to peri-urban areas, do your fibronics and vibronics work? Like I'm asking about Seke, is it possible to have the fiber network connection in the home, Dombosha and so forth? And at what cost does it come?
Okay, sorry, Hamilton is no longer in, but I think Valerie can take the question for you.
Hi. So our fibronics and vibronics networks, I think you gave us an area, Domboshawa and Seke. I think Seke currently, if you look, it's actually covered by our vibronics network. Domboshawa, you'd have to give us your GPS coordinates of where you're located, and then we can map it against our network to see what we can give you. So we have two types of fiber that we've built on our network. So we've got the FTTH network, which is your fiber to the home, which is predominantly in the northern suburbs currently. And then we had gone in on wireless to cater for more numbers and the southern suburbs of Harare. So most areas like your Southerton, Seke, your Hatcliffe, I think Glen Forest going towards Domboshawa area, you should be able to get a Wibronics connection. That's if you're within range of our network. If you're not within range of our network, we'll map it within our network to see what else we can offer. We have another type of fiber where we'll actually do the quotation based on the distance to the nearest point of presence. I hope you answered. So the cost is dependent on the distance. So that's why we actually ask you to give us your actual location, and then we then map it according to our network to see how far off are you, what materials do we require in order for us to process a link coming through to that area.
Arthur, do you have a question on that end?
There's the gentleman here.
Okay, please go there while I move to the next person.
Okay, thank you. My name is Shepard Simbi. I come from IDBZ Bank. My question is directed to Titashe and Martin, and it relates to DLP. I could see that there is DLP, which is there, it relates to email leakages. What I want to find out is there a way to prevent leakages through other, through other forms, like, when you use foreign storage media, your flash drives and the printing of information? Is this something that is looked after by this solution, or we need a third-party solution to cater for that? Thank you.
Okay, just to add on that, assume we are on E3 or E5. Thanks.
Okay. I would like to respond. Okay, with the context, I understand the team here is on. You're on the full Microsoft 365 package, right? So when you're talking about the Microsoft 365 package, okay, when you're talking about the Microsoft 365 package, you're speaking to a combination of solutions. So that is your Office 365, which entails, your Exchange Online, SharePoint, OneDrive, etc., right? And then there is what we call the Enterprise Mobility Plus Security Suite. What this one then does is it extends and it looks into, that mobility and security aspects of being on the cloud. So when we're talking about data loss prevention now, and data exfiltration outside the Microsoft ecosystem, there's a solution that is part of the Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite that is called Azure Information Protection. What this one does now is it allows a user, or it allows administrators, so the two ways of doing it, an administrator can automatically detect sensitive information, like what I was demonstrating there, where you can actually pick up, credit card numbers, and it will automatically encrypt that document. And when that is done, it means that when that document is sent out, only allowed people will be able to open that. On Azure Information Protection, it's a concept called information rights management. So you're managing the rights to access specific documents, right? So when we're looking at that, how it then applies to moving from one platform to another. If I open a document, am I audible? Okay, so if I author a document on Microsoft 365 with sensitive information, and it has been encrypted, when Azure Information Protection kicks in, it means even if it's sent on Gmail, it will go out to that person. But there is a requirement for the intended recipient to be able to decrypt that document by providing their credentials. So if you're on Gmail and you're the intended recipient of that document, you'll be required to provide an additional code sent to your email to authenticate that you do have access to that document. That's one. Or alternatively, if it's sent out, it will be completely blocked out from being opened. So you will not be able to open that document whatsoever. So that's how information is protection. Then there's Intune, which is also part of that suite. That prevents the copying of data. Say if a document was on Teams, or if it was on your OneDrive on your phone, you cannot copy it onto your Gmail, right? You cannot copy even text or even take a screenshot of that information and save it elsewhere. So there's a lot of rules and policies that can be configured in that respect on data loss prevention.
Okay, he had the same question. Anybody else?
There's a gentleman here.
Okay, thank you very much for the detailed presentation. My name is Ervin Stool. I'm from ZSE, Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. My first question is addressed to Valerie, and then the second one is to Munyaradzi. In your initial presentation, you highlighted in terms of the platforms, you said you support Microsoft and Google Workspace. To what extent, Valerie, do you support the Google Workspace?
Okay, so Munya will answer that.
Okay, so Google Workspace, it's basically a new area that we started about a year ago. Our objective is to be a multi-cloud provider. So we do have the skills internally, and I would suggest that if you have got a requirement, please get in touch. But we do have skills internally as well as through partners across Africa. So we'll still be able to serve you.
Okay, thanks, Munya. And then my second one is you also highlighted to say on the cloud platform you provide IaaS platform as a service. Is there scope for you to also look at API management on the cloud?
You say API management?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think we do have the scope, but I think these technical guys are better positioned to answer it in depth, but the scope is there, of course. Martin, anything?
Okay, you said you're from ZSE. Okay, if I understood you, you are looking for a scalable solution to manage your APIs across your organization. Yeah, that is very available on Azure, on AWS, and on GCP. And yes, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. My name is Libat Gamira. I'm from Cambridge Corporation Limited. So, my first question is, I heard you were talking about a ticketing system. At the same time, you were talking something about collaboration on Teams. So I just wanted to check, is your ticketing system Microsoft based, or did you develop it on Microsoft 365, or it's a different platform? And okay, if you want to answer the question, then I'll go to the other questions.
Questions.
It's fine. You can ask your questions. Then you are going to answer them.
Okay. I also heard about weekly phishing our awareness emails. Do you use a 365 platform, or you use another platform for those awareness campaigns? And maybe my last question will be on if someone signs on a device, sometimes the browser or 365 itself kind of asks you if you want to keep signed in to your device, even if you are using the desktop application, Outlook desktop application. How best can we deal with like intruders. Maybe if someone is chosen to keep signed on, and maybe an intruder comes in physical on the laptop and tries to gain access to the emails, is there a way of like protecting such scenarios? Okay.
Okay. Thank you. You said you're from which company?
Chemplex Corporation.
Oh, Chemplex. Okay. I'll leave this to my day to answer any of the questions there. Then the other ones, if she doesn't answer, then I'll come in.
Okay. Thank you for the questions. So I will start with the ticketing system and the weekly phishing awareness emails. So yes, those are Office 365 based. The ticketing system, however, is a third-party system that is integrated into our Office 365. So it's just an extension of our Office 365 platform. And when it comes to the weekly phishing emails, what you then now need to do is to then, you can generate those emails using your Exchange Admin Center. You can make them as broadcasts, or you make it, maybe, for example, you've got a portal that you actually want people to log onto and get trainings, short trainings or videos. So you just configure what you want to configure, upload your stuff on the portal, or even using SharePoint or Stream, Microsoft Stream, which is available on Office 365. And then you have that Stream link or SharePoint link then broadcast in emails. For the last part of your question, I'll leave that to Martin.
Let me give this one to Tinashe so that he can relate to the presentation that he gave.
Okay, thank you, Martin. So if we're looking at, you're looking at physical intrusion to devices, right? Number one, for identity protection, we make use of Azure Active Directory, which is, I mean, every time you sign up on Microsoft 365, it is available for everyone, no matter the package you sign up for. This will come with the multi-factor authentication that Martin was talking about. So when you're looking at, for example, what we can then do with Azure Active Directory is we can then integrate it to your Active Directory on-prem, or you can use a cloud identity to log into your devices. It all depends on how you want to set up your infrastructure. What that protects then is when someone manages to get maybe a username and a password of someone's device, when they log in, there's still that third factor that is required for them to then confirm. So that means you need to have access to all the devices. And nowadays, even the third factor now requires you to provide a fingerprint. So a biometric aspect is then brought into the mix. So that protects against physical access. Another very key thing, I take it, is maybe in the event that the device is stolen, I take it someone is already thinking, if a device is stolen, we can take the hard drive and we can access that information on that hard drive. With Intune, which is part of the Microsoft 365 that I was presenting there, you can enforce device encryption. So that device will be entirely encrypted, and only a logged-in user will be able to access data on that device. Again, multi-factor comes into play. The device is stolen. Someone wants to access it. They have to log in. When they log in, or if they take the hard drive and attach it to another computer, they will not be able to access that data because it is encrypted by BitLocker. So you can set policies to enforce that BitLocker encryption on those devices.
Okay, we have time for one last burning question. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Candice. Good afternoon. Again, thank you for accommodating us this afternoon. My question, my name is Tinashe Tagure, from National Building Society. So my question is around the integrity of the data on Office 365. You know, we all get very comfortable because it's Office 365, it's Microsoft, and it's in the cloud. But Microsoft clearly states that it's a shared responsibility to be able to back up the data. So seeing as you are Liquid and you already offer infrastructure and software as a service, you is it part of a package that you can back up the data for us to have a copy of what's on the cloud in case anything happens to the data on the cloud? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. So what we have is your data on Microsoft is already replicated and backed up in different locations. However, if you then require another layer of backup, we do have third-party solutions like Acronis Backup, which we currently offer, which you then use to host to back up your Office 365 data. It backs up anything on Office 365 that you feel is important and you need another copy of. I hope I answered you well.
Are you satisfied? Okay, great. All right, so for anyone else who has some questions they want to ask, there is room for you to book one-on-one sessions. All you need to do is register outside by the welcome desk, and you will, they will take you through how to get that slot allocated to you. Now, my panelists, please give them a very loud round of applause. You are allowed to leave the stage now. Thank you very much for your time. Another round of applause for them and all their great work. Now, please help me welcome to the podium to help us round up what we were doing today. Just give us, in a nutshell, a summary of what it is we went through. Mr. Duncan Murangwa, who will just give us our final remarks for the day. Please welcome him to the podium. Please give him another round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and also all protocols observed. I think I'm here to just do the simple, one of the most simple things for the day. But I also want to for you guys just to give yourself a round of applause for being here and looking so good and well dressed, yeah? They are supercharged, yeah. It is, I think, one of the major things that we were just talking about because of this whole situation of cloud and the modern workplace is that you are actually able to work from anywhere, just as long as you've got connectivity. And that is a welcome, advantage and benefit when we're talking about the cloud. I still remember, when back in the days, if your server is down at 12 p.m. in the middle of the night, you have to travel back to the office and make sure that the server is up and emails actually start running. So we've got more engineers, IT guys. They are now able to go for holidays, all over the country, outside the country, because of the modern workplace. I still remember back in the day, if an Exchange server goes down, if you're on your way to somewhere, you will have to be called back to the office, isn't it? So I think these are some of the big things that we can talk about and we can take home to then say, where to from now? So what is very critical is that you register. You can use the QR code there to register and for one-on-one sessions. For other guys, I'm also going to ask the Liquid guys to just stand so that you can also engage them during lunch. Guys, can you please stand, the Liquid team? I hope I'm going to remember all of their names. So we've got on my far right there is Sheila. She'll be able to also assist you there. And from Sheila, there's Abraham. That's our executive for cloud and cybersecurity, that's Sophos. So that at least if you also want to talk about that as well and manage services. We've got Arthur Siwale there, who's also behind also the function and everything else. We've got Munya, I'm sure Munya has spoken. Lillian, we've got Lillian, our executive for marketing. She will also be able to assist. My near right here, there's Valerie. She has presented, so I think you guys can know. And we've got my day, our engineer there, just after Valerie. And just in front of my day, there's Tinashe Chijigao-Siku. And then in front of Tinashe Chijigao-Siku, there is Martin Chamambo. On my far left here, there is Yvonne Nachi. She will also be able to assist you. And at the back there is Delight Zirebwa. So those guys are available for. Ranga, please stand up. Okay, right. So there's Ranga there. So those guys are able to assist you, and they can also direct you to guys who can also be able to assist you right away. Yeah. That is one of the action points that we've got. And thank you very much, guys. You can sit down. I hope you guys are also registering via that QR code. Then, so I wanted to just bring back the points that we have got now. For the services that you have got and the services that you want to sign up on, please contact any one of the team members here. They will help you and they will assist you. The second thing is that the team which was here, or which was also answering the questions, and the other guys who are back at the office, they're able to give you and produce strategic documents that you guys can use for your proposals in terms of developments and in terms of taking on new projects within your organization, making it easier for you guys to communicate with your executives and other guys up there. Then obviously the last thing, I would not want to stand between you guys and lunch, is that we have guys who already have these products and services who have already signed up, but there is a lot more you can do with them rather than just receiving your emails and just your Teams, because maybe you're forced to use Teams because of the virtual offices, virtual meetings that you have. But there are a lot more things that you can do, SharePoint and configurations. Liquid is just here for you to offer that service. Then I think for the last point is that I would like to thank you guys for coming out. I hope you spread the word, and we also look forward to you guys interacting with us throughout the year. As we leave the room, there's a gentleman right at the door there, on the exit door on my left. He will give you some tickets, and we'll go straight down the hall. That's where we're going to have our lunch. I think from my end here, that is all. Candace? Thank you very much.
I think Duncan received the loudest round of applause because he mentioned lunch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, has it been a satisfactory event for you? Were you pleased with those presentations? Did they explain to you what you can do with Microsoft 365? Simba, are you happy? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending today. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Even for yourselves, you can't be enthusiastic, guys. Please give the LIT team a round of applause as well for putting together such a great event. It is officially lunchtime, guys. So make sure you collect your tickets by the door. Go out, have your lunch, network. Those who haven't spoken to each other, please speak to each other, exchange contacts, collaborate, okay? After this, you need to collaborate, all right? My name is Candace Mwakalele. I've been your host today. Thank you very much for having me. Be kind to each other, but be kind to still to yourselves. We'll see you at the next Liquid Intelligent Technologies event, all right? Have a good afternoon.
Want a safe, reliable platform to establish and maintain important professional relationships? One Voice for Operator Connect, powered by Liquid Intelligent Technologies, is the perfect cloud telephony solution to answer all your communication problems. If you're already invested in the Microsoft ecosystem, One Voice for Operator Connect is a quick and easy way to get calling while eliminating hardware costs. One Voice allows your business to adapt to the remote work model without compromising communication quality. It empowers you to set your own answering rules, check voicemails and messages, and review your call activity from anywhere, all in just a few clicks. One Voice, bringing people closer.
Want